So I've been wanting to make this video for a while now. It's been a topic that has just been on the forefront of my brain for the last few weeks. And I'll tell you a little story that goes along with it and how important this one character trait or this one theme is to try and instill inside of yourself. And there's this one thing that you just absolutely need to avoid if you want to see the type of growth that you want to see in any endeavor that you're in. And I know that probably most people following me here have some sort of growth mindset. They want to achieve big things. They want to be great in this life, and I want to help you get there and avoid any mistakes that I've made. And I want to take you back to when I was just a little lad, a little guy in kindergarten, because I, funny enough, was going to preschool slash daycare at the same time when I was going to grade school, like kindergarten. And this is because my mom traveled a lot, single parent, traveled a lot for work, so I was on my own a lot, and a lot of that time was spent in school where I'd go to daycare and then I'd go to kindergarten, right? But the thing is that the curriculum that I was learning in daycare was the exact same that I was learning in kindergarten. So I would already know the curriculum ahead of time going into school, and I picked up on this pattern at a young age. And of course, when I got to school, well, I wasn't paying attention anymore. I had no drive. I had no reason to focus. I had no challenge because I already knew what was going on. And in turn, being a young kid, I start acting out in class. I start not paying attention, being disruptive, all those things, getting in trouble in school, as I'm sure some of us did. At that point, it's a realization later in life that you start to realize, okay, I need to be challenged. And I've seen this pattern throughout different areas of my life where it's like, I need to force myself into some sort of challenge, into some sort of action that will get me to grow. Because once I learn the thing, once I learn the skill, once I've feel like I got a good grasp on something and I've been able to learn it, maybe teach it to other people, maintain a skill, I need something else. Something else needs to happen. This is so important when it comes to, let's say, business, entrepreneurship, or let's just say any endeavor that you're really trying to become great in, is that you need to constantly seek challenge and you cannot get comfortable. This is the main thing that's been on my mind this year, is avoiding comfortability regardless of what comes up, because this year for me has been a more challenging year. Fortunately, early on in my business and entrepreneurial career, I've seen some steady growth, some success, and I've been very blessed and very fortunate for what I have got at such an early stage, and I only plan on continuing to grow. But this year's been a year of challenges, no doubt, and there's been some setbacks, there's been some pivots, there's been a lot of learning in place, and a lot of it comes down to me needing to add more clarity and the next vision into my life. Because where I'm sitting right now in my place, I've been in my condo here the last 3 years now, and I envisioned this place. I envisioned having my own condo, having my own space to work, to grow. I have built something great here, but now it's time for the next stage. It's the next level. It's the next version of myself. If you don't build that, if you don't form that certainty, that clarity of your vision in your mind, you tend to kind of just not get stagnant, but more so get comfortable with what it is that you currently have, and you don't tend to see the next stages clearly as you should. In my opinion, it's getting just really clear on what it is that you want, because if you know what you want for the next stage, I'm not saying you need to have 20 years of your life planned out or 10 years of your life planned out, because things can change, as this year has been a year of change for me. But what's important is that you understand what you want and what you're going after, at least for the next stage that you're trying to achieve. And this will help you avoid being too comfortable, because if you're too comfortable, you start to lose the fire inside of you. Now, I haven't lost the fire, but I can see why other people have. I've seen guys that I know that have immense talent. They have aspirations of being great, but the problem is that they're too comfortable either in their environment or their habits or something that's keeping them stuck. And maybe it's self-belief, limiting belief factors. I know I've dealt with my versions of that over time as well, but I've also attributed a lot of my, what I'll say, suffering in business and growth is because I've been too comfortable in certain areas, whether you make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 per month, which in the grand scheme of things in business isn't that much, but you can get pretty comfortable there. And like 30K per month, if you are taking home 30K per month, like you really don't need much else. Like that's actually a really sweet spot to live at. But I'm talking to the people that have big goals, big dreams, big ambitions. Like you need to push past that and understand that if you want more, and you want bigger things, then you need to understand that you need to know what your vision is. But ultimately, if you're kind of just fine being at that level, you can afford most things. Maybe you can't fly private or get these, crazy billion-dollar, multi-hundred-billion-dollar, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's certain things you probably can't afford, but there's other, like, most things in life you can't afford and you'll be fine. But I know for the most part, a lot of you watching this will resonate with wanting more for yourselves, and even outside of just yourself, for the people around you, whether it's for your family, your friends, you want to have certain experiences. It's pushing for that. It's pushing for a certain version of yourself that is capable of achieving those things. And that's what I want to remind you here today. Like I said, I've seen guys go through that. I've caught myself in different stages of my life. Even when I was an athlete, I would see myself getting too comfortable in certain scenarios, but then finding out exactly what I want and then achieving it. And this is the crazy thing too, is when you find out what you want and you put pure focus into that and just taking one step forward each and every time, each and every day, you almost certainly will get what it is that you want, what you focus on. And I'm living proof of that. I've done it with professional sports, right? It got cut short, but ultimately I made it happen from a league that was not highly likely, but it has happened to other people in the past. I was the next one to make it happen. And then I did it with my business. And like I said, I wanted a condo to myself. I rented it out. This is my place now for the last few years. I don't have any roommates. I live by myself. I have peace, all these good things. And I have movement. I can go wherever I want. I mean, really, I could just go to Thailand or Bali for the next 5 years and just chill, and I'd be okay. If I wanted to, but that's not my goals. So I have the movement, I have the freedom, but ultimately I'm working towards more of it, more optionality, more freedom, especially for the things that I'm building. I want there to be a higher purpose behind it, bigger legacy behind it, all of these kind of things. And that's what fires me up to not stay comfortable. Now, don't get me wrong here. Some people need a time where you've worked for a while and you need to sit back, smell the roses, take in the labor that you have done thus far and enjoy it. I've been one of those people that got stuck in the weeds and kind of didn't really see how much progress I really made. I caught myself in limiting beliefs and sometimes the same cycles and habits as before that would keep me at the same level. And I need to step back, reevaluate where I am, take some time to plan and strategically move myself into a next stage, right? Again, paint that vision and what it is that I want. In the beginning stages, you need to grind and kind of have your head down and just power through. But at a certain point, when you have some breathing room, it's good to kind of come up for air and see where you're at. And that's kind of how this year's been for me, where I just need to more so focus on a pure vision of what the next stage looks like and then attack that. I've been at more of a maintenance year this year, a lot of learning, a lot of maintenance of where I've been, but I know for me, it's time to take another step forward in my entrepreneurial career, in my business, and basically just personal development and growth. I know there's parts of me that I need to unlock, and I am currently unlocking to get to another stage, even in my health, my wellness, all those good things, and just even my skills like communication, even just speaking to the camera right now. I even told myself this year that I was going to make content a number one priority, and I let it slip. That's obviously on me. But I already know when I do make content, I am developing, I'm getting better, right? And that's just a small percentage of something that's working towards a greater goal. And it's going to pay dividends later down the line, but you get where I'm coming from. I highly implore you to stay away from comfort. And if you ever feel like you're starting to fall into that trap, understand that there's a difference between evaluating where you're at. I'm not saying you need to make an excuse and be like, oh, well, I'm just trying to figure it out, but you're actually not doing anything, or you're not taking any towards a sort of action, even planning action. I've fallen into that trap too, where I said, yeah, I'm going to plan, I'm going to take some time to think today and whatever, and I end up scrolling on my phone, or I end up doing something that's not even productive at all. And I've had those days, right? I'm not perfect, but you need to understand that there's a difference between just kind of screwing off and not doing anything. And then there's another side of it where it's hey, actually take the time to know what you want and then go after that full force, right? And take the leap, take the risk. And do not stay in a state of comfort, because it will kill your dreams. I've seen it happen to guys that they kind of just call it quits when they have a ton of potential inside of them to hit another level that I know is inside of them, but they're not seeing it in themselves. Or if they are, they're fearful. They are judging themselves. They are just completely uncertain to a point of inaction and fear and just being paralyzed in it. And I mean, you're always going to have uncertainty, right? There's always going to be the fear looming, but you have to go anyways. And I've seen guys kill their dreams over being comfortable. And maybe the fear keeps them comfortable, maybe their habits, maybe their environment, maybe the people in their lives. And you need to evaluate these things and see what's keeping you there, and understand that if you stay there and you actually want to stay there, genuinely you want to stay there, not because other people want to keep you there or your fears and insecurities want to keep you there, but you want to be there, fine. But if you know that you're meant for more, and if you know that you can achieve more, and you're allowing yourself to stay stuck and uncertain to other people's opinions, and you're just letting others lead your life, well, then you're doing a disservice not only to yourself, but the people that you love and the future self who could be achieving a lot more and impacting a lot of other people as well. So kill comfort and absolutely strive towards your goals relentlessly every single day. Cheers.